For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Sometimes it's good to be foolish. It's good to play the fool. You don't always have to display your knowledge, your education, your wisdom. It's good to just be foolish, as though you don't know anything. And you avoid all the chaos and the noise and the arguments and the stress. Play the fool sometimes.
Sound advice. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. It's on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the TuneIn app, Radio Garden, and the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Don't forget, by the way, to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell, and that is to help the channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. We're going up until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Amanda is here. She's already going through some of your comments in the chat rooms. And later I'll be taking your calls at 452-2979. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. What is coming up on the broadcast this afternoon? A whole lot for us to share with you during the course of our program, including news coming from the Office of the Prime Minister. And it reads, the Office of the Prime Minister has approved a half-day for public officers from noon on Friday, that is tomorrow, December the 5th, 2025, in recognition of the official swearing in of the newly elected Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. This gesture reflects the significance of the occasion and provides public officers with the opportunity to observe and participate in this important national event. That's according to a press release from the Office of the Prime Minister. The release goes on to state all essential services will remain operational, and ministries and departments are expected to make the necessary arrangements to ensure continued service to the public where required. The Office of the Prime Minister encourages the private sector, where possible, to grant similar time off to employees in observance of the occasion. The release goes on to say the government thanks all public officers for their continued dedication and invites all citizens to join in this moment of national renewal. That's according to a press release coming from the Office of the Prime Minister. And the St. Lucian leader will be sworn in tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock, during a special ceremony. And by next week, a day to be decided and time to be decided, of course, the Cabinet of Ministers will be sworn in. So general elections held on December the 1st of this year. And we had the observer missions from the OAS as well as the Caribbean community. And the CARICOM Election Observation Mission has given the St. Lucia poll 8.5 out of 10. However, there are concerns relating to the constituency boundaries and the need for independent regulatory framework for finance reform, among other things. We now have a report by DBS's Miriam Motut. That report was filed last evening.
The Caribbean Community CARICOM Election Observation Mission to St. Lucia presented its preliminary report to the media on Tuesday afternoon at the Harbour Club in Rodney Bay. The mission rated the 2025 general election an 8.5 out of 10. Chief of Mission Ian Hughes says that one of the recommendations is the establishment of a regulatory framework to govern campaign financing. He says this includes legislation and a regulatory body outside of Parliament to ensure proper accountability of funds.
The second thing that comes to mind is the size of the register, and more so the boundaries. There are some constituencies, for example, Gros-Islet, almost 30,000 persons registered in that constituency, and there are constituencies with far less, roughly 5,000. So, of course, parity in terms of the boundaries and the number of persons who vote in particular constituencies.
In addition, Hughes says that the team observed challenges related to the management, logistics, and structuring of the advance poll. He says that the mission believes an addition of 5 to 6 locations for voting, including 3 or 4 polling stations added to all locations, will ensure the process is smoother. He adds that the advance poll required more checks and balances than that of Election Day. For both the advance poll and Election Day, he says they also recommend adding more booths to the polling station to assist with the flow of voters.
But we do appreciate that in some of the polling stations, they were classrooms, and so they were fairly small. We also appreciate that the process in terms of the identification of the elector, sometimes that takes a little while longer than is that may be projected. And so we would have to do a total, when I say we, the Electoral Commission would have to then revisit its processes and then determine how best they can add that other poll booth within the polling station.
A comprehensive final report outlining detailed findings and recommendations will be submitted to the Secretary General of CARICOM in a few weeks. Hughes says the report will be available online so that the electorate can view the findings and recommendations to be able to lobby and advocate for them to be enforced. The CARICOM mission left St. Lucia on Wednesday, 3rd December 2025. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that report which was filed last evening during the DBS News World. So once again, the CARICOM Election Observation Mission gives the poll 8.5 out of 10. And quietly and privately, a number of people have been taking issue with the outcome of the poll. It has been shocking to them. They are very suspicious. But again, the people have spoken, and so far we have no evidence that there were any major irregularities which would have in any way impacted the outcome of that election. 14 to the St. Lucia Labour Party, 2 independent MPs, and 1 United Workers' Party candidate winning his seat. We have an individual on the broadcast. He called earlier on and he says that he wants to comment on the outcome of the just concluded general election. And he is a financial crime consultant, among other things, and his name is Kenneth Rijok. I'm sure that you've heard of that name. He is on the line, and let's see if we can speak with him right now. Hello, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Timothy. Nice to hear from you.
Same here, sir. Thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Your take on the outcome of the just concluded general election in St. Lucia.
Well, sir, you know that I'm a financial crime consultant, and for many years I've been talking about the problems with the CIP, but with this election, it's a horse of another color. And the reason I'm calling in to report is that, I acquire information by virtue of my profession. And today, I was advised by a source of mine in the American intelligence community that with respect to your Speaker of the House of Assembly, that is to wit, Mr. Claudius Francis, that they have reported to me some very disturbing news.
Okay, but
they have advised,
as much as they're disturbing, sir, we have to be extremely careful because we do not want to besmirch the character of anyone, and that would lead to us facing a lawsuit. So we have to be extremely careful in how you disseminate that kind of information. I much prefer that we don't go into names and personalities and people who are holding key positions or held key positions in the previous administration. So we have to tread very cautiously, sir. I hope you understand.
I understand.
Yes.
I'm also in the field of journalism, and if that is the case, then, sir, I will take my information elsewhere so that you don't have any issues with possibility of libel, slander, or defamation.
No, I'm just saying that we could speak on the issues without us finding ourselves in any kind of legal wranglings and legal troubles.
Well, I'm only talking about allegations, sir. I'm not talking about discussing evidence. But
Okay.
if
But let's speak in general terms. What are your thoughts on the outcome of the general election in St. Lucia?
well, I can tell you that it goes all the way back to the last election, where there were serious allegations of election fraud, allegations that people involved in the elections department were involved in criminal activity, and worst of all, allegations of the payment of huge amounts of money directly to voters so that they would either vote for one party or they would not vote at all. That appears to have happened in spades in the present situation, and I'm hearing that as much as $5 million changed hands during this election. I had an article maybe a year ago where I showed a picture of a prominent lawyer paying off people at the last election out of his truck. So, unfortunately, that appears to be the rule rather than the exception, and that my information is it's even worse now than it was 4 years ago. So I frankly, I consider the whole election to be bogus. I believe that there needs to be a recount and there needs to be a new election. I'm sorry that you don't choose to have me explain the details on the line here in live, but I'll tell you that I will definitely find another media today in which to get it out. But to answer your question, I consider the whole question of the election to be suspect, and I consider that election fraud was so widespread that all of the results should be thrown out. This was not a free and fair election. Plain and simple. I mean, when there are multiple reports of people passing cash to voters in the vicinity of the voting area, how can you think otherwise?
But the allegation is being made on the part of both sides doing this, engaging in that kind of practice. Haven't you heard?
Yes, sir, that is true. But, this happens to be a widespread problem, not just in St. Lucia. All over the Eastern Caribbean states, the same amoral activity has been going on for a long, long time, and the voters themselves don't seem to care. They would much rather take a small amount of money to give up their soul rather than vote for a democratic result. It's sad.
What kind of measures you think can be taken so that we could get to the truth of this matter, if we have to give credence to the allegations that you're making?
Well, I will call publicly right now for the leader of the opposition, Alan Chastanet, to go to Washington and get assistance from the United States government to have all of the election records examined and all of the, sordid details of what happened during the election, the process of an investigation. I mean, it's really sad that there cannot be a free and fair election in what is supposed to be a democratic country. But that's exactly what has happened. And I call upon the head of the opposition to go to Washington, get all of the logistical help that he can from our government, which is available, and get down to the truth here. You don't have a case where you have actually powerful observers. I mean, there may have been a couple of people, but that's just window dressing. There's never been an election in the Caribbean where there are sufficient election observers to keep it clean.
But is that within the jurisdiction of Washington to get involved in what has happened in the independent nation, St. Lucia?
Well, sir, it's bigger than your local sovereignty and jurisdiction. You know that the position of governments in the Caribbean directly affects the national security of other governments, including the United States. And who happens to be in power in an Eastern Caribbean state affects what their relationship is with the major powers in the world. Let's be very candid that over the last 10 years, there has been a huge amount of influence of the Chinese government in all of the EC states. And a lot of that influence is not exactly positive. That happens to be, unfortunately, a security threat to the United States. I'm sure you know that there have been dozens of instances of people from China who have received CIP passports from St. Lucia and St. Kitts and then proceeded to get in trouble with the law in the United States and around the world. You know, the CIP program in St. Lucia is under attack for valid reasons. And the present government, the Labor Party, is 101% behind the corruption. So who's in power has a lot to do with how they are viewed from abroad. And candidly, you have a government in power right now that allies itself with who? The Maduro regime in Venezuela, the communist government in Cuba, and of course, the People's Republic of China. So with all of that, there's cause for concern in the United States as to whether or not there really is going to be a free and fair election where the people get to choose. And unfortunately, it has not happened. So under those circumstances, the United States has a duty to ensure that democracy reigns. We have if you start in 1823, the United States has a policy called the Monroe Doctrine, which says no foreign state should attempt colonialism in the Western Hemisphere. And America has kept the foreign states out for 200 years. We do not need to have a country such as China bothering to impede the actual democracies of the Caribbean.
But
that's one of the issues.
What do you say? What do you say to my audience, the people who are listening right now, who cast their ballot on December the 1st, who, in their mind, truly elected a government of their choosing, of their choice, and believe that the process was free and fair and reflects the wishes of the people of St. Lucia who went to the various polling stations to cast their ballot. What do you say to this?
Well, yes, sir. That may have been true in a previous election or elections gone by, but one only needs to look at the questions that were asked in the last election and which have migrated to this one about misconduct apart from the voting. I'm really not in a position to discuss it candidly on this line, but the point is that if you happen to make a vote for in a particular district, who's to say that through the magic of modern electronics that it doesn't end up being cast in another district? There are issues here which are above our usual knowledge with respect to election fraud, which have occurred according to my sources. And all of those need to be explored. So to answer the question, if you're a voter and you cast your vote, did that vote actually get recorded where it should have been, and was it recorded at all? Remember, there are allegations that all of the leading people in the elections department are involved in some sort of criminal activity. So until that has been investigated, everything's up for grabs. Your vote may not have counted, Mr. St. Lucian. It may not have been counted at all, or it may have been counted somewhere else. So with all that in mind, there needs to be an investigation, and you just shouldn't push it under the rug and say, well, everybody's vote was counted. Well, that was not necessarily the case.
Finally,
so that's why you need outside help, sir.
Finally, you're saying that there should be an investigation, but who will be, can in such a circumstance, conduct such an investigation? And do they have the right to engage in what is duly our responsibility as a nation to elect our government, the government of our choice?
Well, the problem is that national sovereignty and issues about let's keep it in-house goes out the window when there is corruption involved. And as you know, the CIP program has been corrupt, for several years, and people have been receiving funds in a corrupt world where, guess what? You do not want that to end. So can you get by with an internal investigation? Not in a country where the people in power appoint the judiciary. You're not going to get a fair shake on the rule of law if the people who happen to be your judges were appointed by your prime minister and people in the cabinet because that was the source of their power. You need an independent investigation conducted from outside, for example, from the UK. Somebody who doesn't have an axe to grind and who doesn't have political allegiance to one side or another, in the House of Assembly.
All right, so thank you so much for speaking with us on this very sensitive subject this afternoon on NewsSpin.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You just heard there from Mr. Kenneth Rijoc, a financial crime consultant, and he's taken into question the outcome of the December 1st general election, claiming that there was a widespread use of funds to influence how people voted in St. Lucia to the tune of millions of dollars. To set the record straight, I did not go out in search of Mr. Rijoc. He called the broadcast today. So that is why I'm taking issue with the comments in the chat room and also via YouTube. Somebody says, Tim, you are an evil man. Just engaging in discussion. Just facilitating discussion on a matter that we must agree is a very sensitive one, but it does not mean that we cannot tread cautiously and go through this particular issue as carefully, as respectfully as possible. We all cannot be of the same mindset. There is always a different point of view. We can always broaden our thinking to certain issues. It does not mean that every time you hear somebody say something that you are not in concurrence with, that you ought to automatically reject what they are saying. That is what discussion is all about, and this program is not one that is you can consider it to be predictable. And we are not casting aspersion. Remember, we are not casting aspersion one way or the other. We are just ventilating the issues as they come before us, because I think it would be rash of me and rash of this broadcast if we were to conclusively say that there were irregularities that impacted the outcome of the last general election. That is not what I am saying. That is not the tenor of the discussion from my point of view. It's just that somebody had a different perspective, and they're claiming to have evidence, they're claiming to have spoken to sources, and we just facilitated the discussion this afternoon. Amanda, I could just imagine what is being said in the chat room, so very early we go on to you to find out what are some of the comments via Facebook and also YouTube.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, you spinners. Simo commentary says, instead of addressing the elephant in the room, which is Uncle Shas, unaliving UWP, Tim is busy interviewing crazy people with unrealistic opinions. UWP hacks, you guys lost because of Shasney, Guy, and Fede. A few comments here via the Facebook chat room. Someone says, campaign financing regulations in St. Lucia, think about it again. Commentary reads, Tim, is there a possibility those two independents can form the opposition? And NewsSpin says, a lot of money talked for sure. Commentary reads, my response to them when they are asking for money to borrow is, the mood is red. That is what they voted for. I'm putting them in check. Someone says, why is the US, Jamaica, and Trinidad so involved in St. Lucia's affairs? NewsSpinner says, Recall we lost, but we do not need Trump or Washington in our business. Commentary says, that's why I am not sad, because I knew that was not a fair election. Commentary says, now St. Lucia is really on the radar. That's what y'all wanted. And NewsSpinner says via the Facebook chat room, I remember raising that point on Monday about the observers. Another commentary says, UWP must go the extra mile. This was a stolen election. Commentary reads, we have too many power-hungry people in politics. Someone says there, that's why their celebration and analysis of why UWP lost is utter nonsense. And NewsSpinner says they're free or fair or not, leave it so. St. Lucians sleep on the bed you all made. Someone says they're all allowing the US to interfere with our affairs. Look at Trinidad now. Be careful what you'll wish for. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update. 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let's see there if we have a call coming in. In the meantime, okay, we have a call. Hello, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
If we have...
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, I was just listening to the man speaking there, right? And St. Lucian have to understand. St. Lucian have to understand that a lot of people talk about America meddling in our affairs. We have to understand that America always have been there for the Caribbean. And the Caribbean cannot defend themselves alone. In case we have something like a war breakout in the Caribbean, we must need America. And a lot of stuff that we are using is from America. So all the people them that talking about red and yellow, it's not about red and yellow. It's about doing the right thing for the country. And the election was stolen. Nobody don't say no, somebody have to lose, but the election was stolen.
Yeah, call on what basis? You see, because at least the Mr. Rijok was saying that he has evidence which has not presented to us, and we're not positioned to say that. But I think you're speaking on the basis of how you feel. On the basis of maybe you had a horse in the race which did not win the contest. So I don't think we could just say that the election was stolen. No, we don't have the evidence to prove that.
I personally, I support a party, but no party don't give me nothing in life.
No, that's not the point. But we have to speak on the basis of evidence, if we have the evidence to prove it.
Yeah, but the facts is there. The facts is there, and as time goes by, the facts will be out.
All right, but we don't have the facts before us, caller. All right?
Okay, but when you get the facts, then you will put it out to the public, and everyone will understand.
Yeah, because we can only pass judgment on the basis of the facts, and we don't have the facts. Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. Let's see if we can take another call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Yes. My name is Christopher Hunt. I wanted to ask a couple of questions of you. First of all, you do know that Mr. Rejok has literally gone to jail as a convicted financial fraud crimes, right?
This is well documented,
as a journalist,
sir. No, this is well documented.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The second question is, you as an investigative journalist, right? You don't need to have any you don't need to allegations, non-allegations. He made accusations of electronic voter fraud. Timothy, you as an award-winning investigative journalist, you are telling me you don't know that St. Lucia does not have electronic voting?
I'm aware of that, sir. I'm aware of that.
So you don't think it incumbent when he says that to inform him in what he was trying to do there as a journalist, as a St. Lucian, to inform him, sir, let me please correct you, as I know that St. Lucia does not even have electronic voting, therefore there cannot be any electronic voter fraud?
But he also made a number of issues, comments regarding, sir. Hold on, please, hold on. He also made certain comments regarding him having spoken with certain sources, okay? And he wanted to reveal certain information that I could not have allowed him to reveal because I could not have substantiated it, sir. All right? But it does not, hold on. It does not prevent me from speaking with him on that particular issue, because that interview did not take place at my request. He called the program to speak on a particular matter. No. Caller,
that's what you
if you are going to call me a liar, then I do not want to have any kind of discussion with you on this particular issue. Because I'm telling you, I am telling you that it did not happen at my insistence. I did not issue, I did not issue an invitation to him. I have never in my life spoken to Mr. Rejok before. He called me and he wanted to speak on this particular subject, sir. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question. If I said that St. Lucia was 400,000 square miles, and you know as a glaring, obvious fact that is not true, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think as a journalist that is incumbent upon you to point out the most basic of facts to him or to the general public, right, who you account to? Don't you feel that you should at least say that claim cannot be substantiated for the simple fact that we do not have electronic voter fraud?
That is exactly what I said to him. Sorry? Hold on, that's exactly what I said to him, that I cannot substantiate whatever he said there. And he wanted to call names. I went on to say that you cannot make reference to any particular individual. Well, and if you have any...
He already called Claudius Francis's name.
Mm-hmm.
He already did. It's there, it's recorded.
But I stopped.
The point that I'm making...
No. The fact that... hold on, Colin. The fact that he made reference to somebody does not mean that he don't act responsible by saying, please, whatever you have to say, keep it to yourself. I don't want to know. But we could speak on some other subject matter. Hold on. When you speak generally about your thoughts, the information that you have and your thoughts about the outcome of the election does not prevent somebody from having a particular opinion on that particular issue. It does not mean that it has to sway you one way or the other.
Tim, the point is, it does not take, even if you want to put a disclaimer or say that you cannot substantiate, it is simple 1 + 1. We do not have electronic voting in St. Lucia, So we cannot, by definition, have electronic voter
But you
fraud.
keep
Plain and
belaboring
simple.
you keep belaboring that point when he made a reference to a number of other issues, such as millions of dollars
But
that have been used to sway people in one way or the other, to buy votes. He did make reference to those other issues, but you keep belaboring one particular point.
I'm prosecuting a point that the basic journalism would require. If somebody tells you St. Lucia is spelled Germany, that a journalist can point out, no, sir, that spells Germany.
But all right, you could litigate.
That's my point.
You could litigate how you want. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate your contribution nonetheless. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. And let me see if I have any of your messages to go through. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, all it took was one phone call and all the red ants came out of the wood. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more. Let's see. Let's take a call. Hello, good afternoon. NewsSpin, you are on the air. Hello. Hello.
Hi, good day, team.
Yes, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm calling. I know St. Lucian made a decision. We respect it. That's fine. All I'm telling you guys, Chasney offered you guys health insurance. You rejected it. Do not, and I repeat, come to the United States, because I am going to my congressman to make sure St. Lucians do not come to the U.S. for any medical treatment. I will make it my duty, because you guys were offered it, you rejected it. If you're sick, stay in St. Lucia. Do not come to the United States for treatment. Thank you, team. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for calling. Some more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. A call on the line. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon to you, ma'am.
How are you?
I am okay. How about you?
I am doing well, Timothy. I just want to call on one matter, and that is in response to what Christopher Hunt just said. And you see, it's many times we speak about things and it's just about technicality. So Christopher Hunt is referring to the fact that there may not be electronic voter fraud because we do not have electronic voting. And while that may be accurate, there is a possibility of electronic voter fraud because of the system that we are currently using in recording and reporting the votes. So I want Christopher Hans to understand clearly, because you see, somebody said it, one statement, Ekwel tut mun mute. You're sure. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, Tim. I want to make it very clear. But I want everybody to understand that, and I don't know the gentleman or whatever, but the possibility exists and can exist. Because the fact is that while we vote manually on a piece of paper for the last 2 election cycles, when the votes have been tabulated manually or tallied manually, it is entered electronically into the database of the electoral department. I want to say that again. So they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they have it on a piece of paper. That number that was written on a piece of paper is what is entered electronically into the database of the electoral department, and that is the number that is reported to the general public. So there is a possibility, Tim, that if when you tally the number, it said 20, and somebody entered and made an error and entered 21 or 31 or whatever, there is a possibility of errors being reported, so that the number being shown on the screen or in the database of the electoral department is different to the number that is actually tallied. So I want to clarify that. But I am not accusing that this happened, but I'm saying, because I'm an accountant and I do auditing and I understand, and that's why you do audits, to find errors and mistakes can happen because of the system that we are using in terms of the reporting. Thank you, team.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling. 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. To my attention again to Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Tim, a few comments I see here. Someone says, and look, they said Emma's checks bounced, which is proof. Commentator says, as long as SLP is in power, they will always have advantage in power, money, and influence. A NewsSpinner says, their SLP, the world is watching TikTok. Commentator says, man, our votes are not electronic. We put an X on a paper with faces. Someone says, they're team enough with this man. I do not like the results of the election, but I do not trust the US in our business. A NewsSpinner says here, St. Lucians, put on your seatbelts. There is a high likelihood of turbulence, but what would I know? A commentator says, here comes the personal attacks on this man, but St. Lucians will learn the hard way. Commentary reads, I read the bitter comments here and saw all the reasons why the masses always suffer. A commentary via the YouTube chat, by the Facebook chat room, it says, people far away in America can see that the election was stolen, but the people in St. Lucia are turning a blind eye. Someone says there the hacks are crashing out because this man explained this his observations and information. Do not crash out, just dance. LOL. A commentary says they wanted UWP to win. No, sir, you all lost. Someone says there, what does the SLP have to hide? There must be an investigation. Someone says there, some of them checks got bounced in Soufriere. Bear war in the bank. Now they are saying they regretted voting for Labour. Commentary says, team, do not listen to these SLPs. They love corruption. Someone says their UWP is too timid. If it were on the other side, there would be a recount already. Someone says they're them foreigners really in St. Lucian politics. Shake my head. Someone says they're all the bad you guys are wishing on the island. Just remember, when it rains on everyone. Rooftop, not just a selected few. Back to you, Sam.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you are on the air.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Wonderful. I just want to make two observations. First of all, I just want to say that we had a campaign season. We had...
Caller, you have to speak direct. I don't know, something is wrong with the reception. You're not coming across too clear at all, caller.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you might have to call back, sir. You might have my apologies to you. You may have to call back. 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, hi. I've never called this show before, but I just had to call. And I'm sitting here listening to a bunch of nonsense about votes being, election being stolen and all of that. When the votes are counted, I worked at one of the polling stations. When the votes are counted, Tim, and they input it into the system, the two parties have their agents inside the room. The votes are logged in manually, and it's also inputted digitally, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way. I cannot understand how Lucians will just come with all types of nonsense talking about votes are stolen. People, this is a small island developing state, right? We're not the backward. We're not the the last of the last. Okay. Elections are not stolen. Everybody has their team. Your team lost. Just suck it up. It's just democracy. The thing is just straightforward. There's no stealing an election, bro. I just hate people acting and even the smartest people in St. Lucia talking that type of garbage when they know it's not true. We need to stop this. You understand? This cannot continue in this country. We have smart individuals. We're acting like we have a bunch of low IQ people here. Stop talking this garbage like elections are stolen. Man, this is laughable. Anyways, have a good day.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 4522979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's check on the landline. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello. Think we have lost that call. Let's see if we have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin.
Hello, good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, Tim. I just want to elaborate on what Nancy Charles said. And of course, when you enter votes in a system, they have IT specialists. Those things can be manipulated. I'm not saying that happened. But what I want to say, Tim, for the United Workers' Party, we are a strong party. We know what happened. We saw what happened on the ground. We ran a clean election. And then eventually the truth will be revealed. All United Workers' Party member regroup and let us fight the fight for our freedom of our country. I thank you, Tim.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. There's still to come some more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and of course, Amanda will have some more of your comments in the very busy chat rooms. Lucilec wishes to advise customers and the public of the closure of all its customer service offices on Friday, December the 5th, 2025, that's tomorrow. This closure is necessary to facilitate staff participation in a work-related activity. Normal business will resume on Monday, December the 8th, 2025 at 8 o'clock in the morning. During the closure, all options for conducting business with Lucilec remotely, including the automated account inquiry service at 457-4433 for bill balances, myaccount.lucilec.com for account information, and to make online bill payments, and the virtual service desk at lucilec.com will remain available, and customers are encouraged to use those. The management of Lucilec regrets any inconvenience that this closure may cause. Please stay with the broadcast.
Ho, ho, ho. I had a dream that I, Santa, will be giving away amazing gifts this Christmas at Europa Hardware in Massad Grosile. I saw a Karcher pressure washer, a vacuum cleaner, steel brush cutters, Metabo power tools, even a welding machine, tile cutter, and Leo water pump. Just spend $500 or more between now and December 19, 2025. And your name and number goes into the box to be drawn. Christmas couldn't be better. Only Europa is making things so merry. Ho, ho, ho. It's not a dream, it's a fact. Shop at Europa Hardware. Call us at 452-0763. Europa, we service what we sell.
What if the next drop is the last? St. Lucia is facing longer, more intense dry spells, and our water sources are drying up. And when the rains come, they come harder and faster, damaging our homes and disrupting our water supply. But we can change the outcome. By conserving water and protecting our sources, every small action adds up. WASCO, working in collaboration with the Water Resource Management Agency, is committed to securing our water future. But we need your help. Together, we can protect our water, our health, and our future. One small step can make a big impact. Let's secure our water and secure our future. For more information, visit wascostlucia.com.
Yeah, man. Great job, guys. I love it.
Yeah, man. You guys see how the place starting to look nice?
Not just nice. This STEP program creates a safer and healthier community for all of us who live it. CIP is doing so many good things in the communities and providing jobs for us. It's a win-win for everyone. I am the I in CIP.
I am the I in CIP. It's about our citizenship by investment program.
The season is here at KFC. It's Christmas in every way. Grab a festive feast bucket or festive feast box today. And every time you purchase, you have chances to win. Day passes, vouchers, jewelry, and appliances all tucked in. Dipping wings, crispy chicken, biscuits, and sodas all inside. Fries and coleslaw, we spreading joy island-wide. Or choose the festive feast box with a big crunch inside. With chicken, fries, and soda, that's magic we can't hide.
It's KFC, finger-licking good! This promotion has been approved by the National Lotteries Authority of St. Lucia.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Hey Lucilec, it's Nia. I'm in full festive mode, but I can just use a little bit of guidance to choose the perfect Christmas lights. Any advice?
Hey, Nia, this is me, Fernan. And you know I've got you covered. Choosing the perfect Christmas lights can be a merry adventure. But don't you worry, let me hook you up with some holiday tips. LED lights are like the holiday superheroes. They shine brilliantly while using less energy. Plus, they will keep the festive spirit alive all season long. And here's a jolly tip. Remember that decking the halls will give your meter a little extra workout. But hey, it's all part of the holiday magic, right?
LED lights it is, Fernan. Thanks for helping me light up the holiday season.
You got it, Nia. Wishing you a season filled with joy, sparkle, and a touch of energy-saving cheer. If you're aiming for energy-saving superhero status, don't forget to unplug those lights before going to bed.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home, we've got the mortgage. Starting your first business, count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
St. Lucia, we did it on December 1st. You stood up, you spoke loudly, and together we delivered a resounding victory for the St. Lucia Labour Party. A victory for progress, a victory for stability, a victory for putting people first. This Sunday, December 7th, we come together as one family to say thank you to the incredible people of the country. Join Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, your elected Labour candidates, party supporters and well-wishers at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from 3 p.m. for the National SLP Thank You Rally. A massive celebration of your trust, your vote, and your belief in a better St. Lucia. This victory belongs to you. Come, celebrate it with us. The SLP Thank You Rally. Sunday, December 7th, 3 p.m., Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Let's move forward together.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Flow can make the season even merrier. Switch to a Flow prepaid combo plan and we'll give you a 30-day plan absolutely free. That's a whole month on us. 36 gigabytes of data, unlimited calls and texts, plus all the social media and WhatsApp you need to share every festive moment. Plus, spin the wheel for even more prizes. Switch to Flow prepaid today and get your next combo on the house. Sign up in-store today or visit online at discoverflow.co. We keep your Christmas rhythm flowing.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on your NewsSpin Facebook page as well as your NewsSpin YouTube channel. Shop directly from the U.S. with Smack Freight International. Vehicles, heavy equipment, tools, parts, building materials, commercial equipment, office equipment, furniture, personal goods, home goods, shoes, clothing, restaurant equipment and supplies, uniforms, and so much more. Smack Freight International offers a broad selection of top quality products with real-time availability and fast delivery. It is simple. Whatever you buy it for less at Smack Freight. Smack Freight is now serving the Caribbean. WhatsApp them today at 1737-409-4048. That WhatsApp number again, 1737-409-4048, or visit their website at smackfreight.com. Let's take a call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, team.
Hi.
This is Tommy Descott.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Mr. Descott.
Hi, Tim. I'm reaching out to just make a statement on all what's been going on in the media, both on social media and in the traditional media houses. Tim, I'll preface my comments before. I will preface just this point. I want to say that on my campaign, I told St. Lucians that if you gave the St. Lucia Labour Party a huge mandate the second term, this is the kind of political victimization that they will be facing. And that message, I try to speak loud and clear to St. Lucians about it. This is a party that believes it's untouchable political domination. And so, Tim, I am the victim of that, Tim. And I will explain. I'm also going to have a press conference at the party headquarters this afternoon at 4. I'm asking the press to come to that press conference so I could speak and clarify everything that transpired. Tim, here's what actually happened, Tim. At 6 p.m., after polls were closed, I entered the Cicero Secondary School where polling division F2B was. It's my right as a candidate to go in there and also try to witness the counting of the ballots. Tim, 3 policemen in a black squad policemen came towards the vehicle. I was nowhere near the vehicle. I was already moved away from the vehicle, and said that they had a tip on suspicion. Someone gave them a tip suggesting that we were soliciting votes. So it was a suspicion. Then he asked my finance director, who was in the vehicle, whether he had cash on him. The gentleman said yes, he had cash on him, and the cash was there for specifically to pay our workers, election day workers. Tim, you have 50 or so agents who worked for us, caterers, runners, and these persons expect to get paid immediately. And so we had the cash. The cash had bundles, it was sealed, it had stamps from the bank, so it was legitimate funds that we had. And then the police officer proceeds to say that, hey, he has to seize the cash and he has to take us down to check the cash, to verify the cash. We obliged. We were taken down. The process was about 30 minutes and we were discharged. The police officer never counted the cash before us. He sealed it and we left. Our lawyers were there and we left. Tim, now I'm getting reports that the police are giving statements because no statement was taken. There was no statement written, no information was taken. We are now hearing that they gave information suggesting that they found the monies on me. Tim, this is so untrue. This is a patent lie on the part of whoever within the police who did this. The other disturbing thing is that we gave them copies of our ID so that they could make sure that whatever they write in, our names were there properly. The officer took a copy of the photo and then he circulated it. Tim, this is against all practice, all procedures within the police force. Tim, St. Lucia is in deep trouble. This vote, this election result, this country is going to experience widespread political victimization. The media houses, people like you, Tim, on your show, throughout the length and breadth of this country, people should be deeply concerned. But I'm going to fight back. I'm going to explore every legal action because this is an attempt to defame my character. This is an attempt to tarnish my good name. But you know what has me very, very comforted by all of this, Tim. Constituents reaching out to me and saying to Tommy, despite all what's happening there, your message was getting through to us. That message of hope, that message of ensuring that tell St. Lucians that you should not just rely on government handouts. You understand? That thing of dignity, that message of pride in ourselves. And so, Tim, I'm going to continue the fight. I'm going to continue to push, but I'm going to defend my good name. And it's very, very concerning. We are now suspecting that there is every institution in this country has been tainted by this political party. Every one of them are now under the grip of this political party and doing the bid of the Labour Party. The next 5 years is not going to be good for St. Lucia, Tim. So I just want to let the media know that I'm going to be at the party headquarters making an official statement and explaining to them what transpired and, if possible, take questions to them. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much for calling. You just heard there from the United Workers' Party candidate for Castries South in the last general election. He was unsuccessful, Mr. Tommy Descott. Let's continue with your calls and WhatsApp messages. We have a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Okay. Tim, I'm calling you to tell you if there is some guys that some heavy people are in position. Tim, these things are not good at all. Checks was given, Tim. Up to now, about 6 of us have the check. You can't change it.
Where are you calling from?
It's not good, Tim.
Where you got a check from? Or who issued the checks to you?
From the SLP.
You got checks. Beg your pardon?
I wouldn't call nobody's name.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, checks was given. Money was spread in change.
Okay, but the person who issued the check to you, have you gone back to them, sir, to verify?
I will not go back to them because I go to the bank and there's no money.
No, but if there's any money, then you go back to the person who issued the check to you, sir, to verify. Beg your pardon?
Yeah, they are calling the bank.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I won't go back to them. I will expose them.
No, I think what is normal, what is normally done is that you go back to the person who issued the check to you.
But why should you have said, give me a check, Tim, and there's no money in the bank?
So what are you interested in? You don't want your money?
No, I don't want the money.
You don't want it?
No.
Okay.
I want the money.
All right, caller. Okay.
All
All right. Thank you so much for calling. 4522979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let us see if we have another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Call via WhatsApp. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm fine. How is Amanda? Everybody's good?
I'm okay.
Good afternoon, call. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, Tim. There's a lady who called to say about she's going to go to her Congress. What she said? To stop people, whatever, coming up for medicals and stuff. Did I hear that?
I don't know what you heard, caller.
But you didn't hear when the lady said something about she's going to go to her congressman, Congress, whatever, to go and stop people for health stuff? You didn't hear that?
Yes, caller.
Okay, well, all right. So I'm just telling that lady she's very wrong for that. She is very wrong for that. This is not nice. All of us are St. Lucians together. That's all I have to say. Thank you, team.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. 4522979. We have a call on the landline. Hello. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Hey, good afternoon, Timothy. How you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Wonderful. Yeah. Let me just say something, Timothy. We just came out of an election, and I almost want to encourage the supporters of and I want to make it clear that I am a proud supporter of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and I want to almost encourage the members of the United Workers' Party, if I'm allowed to give them some advice, to continue the politics of bitterness, to continue the politics of division, to continue the politics of pettiness, to continue the politics of calling names. How is it that we live in the country? Because you know what's going to happen? They're going to remain in opposition for the foreseeable future. We just got out of an election where the UWP it was a resounding defeat. You understand? There's no doubt about it. Whether you want to talk about electronic fraud or whatever, it was a defeat. out of 17 constituencies, you all won one. And even there, the margin was closed. What should be happening right now should be a post-election analysis and try to figure out what happened. And I can tell you, a lot of the people, if you speak to them, they tell you the bitterness, the vitriol, the kind of name-calling, the way that the party behaved turned them off completely. And even now, I have people calling and saying, whoa, why is that all UWP wants St. Lucia to suffer? All of a sudden wants St. Lucia to suffer. You were willing, to be a candidate to represent St. Lucia, but now that you lost your bid, you want St. Lucia is going to all of a sudden fall apart. We've heard that in the past. We've had situations where we wanted blood to flow. Why? It's your country. We have a very, very limited resources. This is a time for us to come together and figure out how do we chart a course forward. Things are not as dire and as the whole world is falling apart simply because you lost an election. It's a competition. I mean, for lack of a better word, it's a competition. One team wins, one team loses. At the end of the day, you pick up your marbles and you move on to play at the next game. But this thing of wanting to see St. Lucia almost destroyed because you lost an election, that we're going to be suffering and there's going to be what victimization is there going to be? What signs of victimization have you seen for the past 5 years? Where was it? I mean, we have to stop this nonsense and I mean, people who are supposed to be intelligent, you understand, echoing this nonsense, you understand. It was an election, you lost, move on with yourself, man. At the end of the day, you had the day after to go and pay your workers. You could have done that. You know that it would have looked improper. I mean, why would you do that on the day at 6 o'clock? Polls close at 6 o'clock. You're so committed to paying your workers that the polls close at 6 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock you're there to pay them. No, you don't understand that they have to count. They have to settle their affairs. Do you understand that they have to settle their affairs before they pay? Man, we need to just change our whole philosophy. And again, I want to encourage the UWP. Continue doing that. Keep your leaders. Keep your leader. Keep all your members. Bring them to the next general election and see what's going to happen. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Amanda, what's happening in the busy chat rooms?
Give me a minute, Tim. Okay, there we go. Someone says here he can still be free to express his suspicions. A commenter reads, I'm going to put my popcorn in the microwave. A NewsSpinner says here we had an independent observer who praised us for free and fair elections, yet we believe one white man who calls a talk show. This is extremely disturbing. Commenter says, oh Lord, he resurrected just to attack the man and the team. Here comes the gaslighting. Someone says there no amount of winning elections will make PJP a good leader or prime minister. Our form of elections makes it possible for Dash to win. A NewsSpinner says Tim was being a professional, and as a journalist he has a right to listen to anyone who calls. Commenter says, now we're defending St. Lucia, where were we? Commenter says, pride and self-ego will never allow one to accept defeat, even if it means selling blame on others. A NewsSpinner says via the Facebook chat room, just accept defeat, Goshman. St. Lucia, choose SLP, deal with it. Commenter says the bottom line is the one person they did not want is the one person they got, the thorn in their side. Commenter says only low IQ people would re-elect a government that barely performed. Someone says their team, I am hoping that the St. Jude Hospital will soon be in operation. A NewsSpinner says via Facebook, leave team alone. Christopher, shake my head. That's the problem with your democracy. You guys want to have power over the people. That is not democratic. A few comments here via YouTube. Someone says, how would a recount change the outcome? Someone says, sir, I do not know what you're coming with, but I beg you, please do not come to create any chaos in our country. How convenient, but we will see. So do not open this can of worms. Someone says there, what is his credibility to speak on the Caribbean region with such negativity while endorsing a president who just pardoned a drug kingpin? Someone says there, if no one speaks of illegal practices because they do not have proof, then it gives the government chat blunt. Someone says there, Tim, this man has just called us foolish and backward because of what he believes. Miss, I was paying attention until you insulted my vote. We reject Washington. Someone says, our team, you should look into protecting yourself from legal trouble by using a disclaimer. Commentary via the YouTube chat room, someone says, we will not follow Kamala and Friday. Team, be careful because Donald Trump will not break us. Someone says, them people just can't accept defeat, so looking for everything to complain about. NewsSpin says via the YouTube chat room, you ought to be more sensible as a St. Lucian. He should not be allowed to opine in such a manner on a country that he is not a citizen of. You are setting a bad precedent. And someone says, get off Tim's back. The man called to have his say. This is democracy. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. WhatsApp message. Somebody says, on the matter of stolen elections, we must be open to understand the process of theft. It cannot be ignored that all aiders and abettors contribute to the heist. Fact, this on monetary value which is given to persons to vote one way or another contributes to the theft. If there is transparency, we should have known details of the voucher program which was weaponized to sway voters. The supermarkets show records of how much was paid to them, who made the payments, when was it done, how many people are redeeming the vouchers. Until this is known, how can this government claim legitimacy? Let's continue with some more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. We have a call on the landline. Hello, good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you, caller. I am okay. How about you?
Fine. The election results were surprising, but there is the agony of defeat and the thrill of victory. So those who are having a good time, just let them have their good time. However, Tim, there are a few little things that I found a little strange. On the night of elections, normally they would tell you that amount came from the comprehensive school, that amount came from the Clary school, that amount came from the Anglican school. You know, they would actually tell you where it was coming from. But this time they didn't. They only said it's coming from North. It's coming from North. So if I want to go up, let's say I want to go up for elections and I want to know where was Stephen stronger, or where was so-and-so stronger, where was he weaker, where should I really work hard with, I wouldn't have that.
You're talking about from the various boxes.
Yes, the boxes. They were not calling out where the boxes, where it was coming from. And I found that very peculiar because other years they would. But this year I didn't notice that. However, another thing, Tim, there's a lady who called and she said she would speak to her authorities, don't allow persons to come up to the states to have whatever health problems to fix it. That's not the right thing to do, my lady. You are hurting, yes, but that's no reason why you should just be so you're so bitter that you're bitter with the entire country. Just for a few, you want to kill all, and that's not right. We are all St. Lucians first. I keep on saying that, and for some reason we forgetting that. And this is why the gentleman who called and he said, continue being malicious and continue being this and continue being that. It was happening in both parties, not just the United Workers' Party. I was seeing it in the SLP big time. And today I'm still seeing it in both parties. So I see no reason why he should say a thing like that. The country is now bleeding. You can actually see it on our map. You can see the red, a lot of red, and there's one bit of yellow. And that yellow, they wanted to get rid of, but he's still there like a beacon. Not because he didn't get the full amount that, you have to treat him like that. And I will be watching to see how they will be treating him. Because I was speaking to some little kids who came into my establishment. And the little girl said to another one, who did you vote? And the other one said, me, I'm not telling you. And she said to her, I hope it's not the white man, because that white man wasn't born in St. Lucia. And I'm like, oh my God. Timothy, we have a lot to do for teaching our people to respect each other. If you follow Flubbo, respect labor. When you follow labor, respect Flubbo. And in the election, it is not. I heard only one side telling their people don't do, and I wasn't hearing it from the other side at all. And so today now, everybody is looking at one side as being bad and the other side being good. That's not true. It was on both sides. And one more thing, Timothy. I also heard, before, Tim, when you used to, I don't know if that used to happen with you, But before, when the cricketers used to play in England,
We will.
We will.
We will.
We will organize.
Europa Hardware. Call us at 452-0763. Europa, we service what we sell.
The season is here at KFC. It's Christmas in every way. Grab a festive feast bucket or festive feast box today. And every time you purchase, you have chances to win. Day passes, vouchers, jewelry, and appliances all tucked in. Dipping wings, crispy chicken, biscuits, and sodas all inside. Fries and coleslaw, we spreading joy island-wide. Or choose the festive feast box with a big crunch inside. With chicken, fries, and soda, that's magic we can't hide. It's KFC, finger licking good! This promotion has been approved by the National Lotteries Authority of St. Lucia.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
St. Lucia, we did it on December 1st. You stood up, you spoke loudly, and together we delivered a resounding victory for the St. Lucia Labour Party. A victory for progress, a victory for stability, a victory for putting people first. This Sunday, December 7th, we come together as one family to say thank you to the incredible people of the country. Join Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, your elected Labour candidates, party supporters, and well-wishers at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground from 3 p.m. for the National SLP Thank You Rally. A massive celebration of your trust, your vote, and your belief in a better St. Lucia. This victory belongs to you. Come, celebrate it with us. The SLP Thank You Rally. Sunday, December 7th, 3 p.m., Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Let's move forward together.
This Christmas, Flow's making the season merrier when you add postpaid to internet. Unwrap a new smartphone for only $29. Plus, we're giving you 50% off your mobile bill. And win even more goodies with our Spin the Wheel Christmas promotion. This Christmas, the rewards are on us. Add postpaid to your internet plan today in-store or visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, we keep your Christmas rhythm flowing.
Every day, St. Lucian women give everything to their families, communities, and dreams. Yet breast cancer still claims too many lives. Now, St. Lucia is making history. For the first time, state-of-the-art 3D mammography is available right here at home. Donated by the World Bank through the Health Sector Support Program, these advanced machines are a major step forward in universal health coverage, and they're free. Women 40 and older or younger, if at risk, can access this life-saving service. Visit your local wellness center for a referral. Early detection saves lives. free mammograms, universal coverage. Your wellness center is your first step.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Shop directly from the U.S. with Smack Freight International. Vehicles, heavy equipment, tools, parts, building materials, also commercial equipment, office equipment, furniture, personal goods, home goods, shoes, clothing, restaurant equipment and supplies, uniforms, and so much more. Smack Freight International also offers a broad selection of top quality products with real-time availability and fast delivery. It is simple. Whatever you buy it for less at Smack Freight. Smack Freight is now serving the Caribbean. WhatsApp them today at 1737-409-4048. That WhatsApp number again, 1737-409-4048, or visit their website at smackfreight.com. We have a call via WhatsApp. Let's go to that contribution. Hello, good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Well, Tim, I hope you are especially proud of your country today, and I hope you have great hopes for our immediate future.
I am always proud. I'm always proud of my country, but with regard to hope for the future, I have my doubts.
All right, Tim. I'm an old guy. Maybe my hearing is so good. Did somebody say that they received checks that were unsigned and so on from election candidates?
No, not from election candidates, but certain people in the St. Lucia Labour Party. So they did not specifically say election candidates.
Okay. And when you asked who was the person, they said they would not call. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. The assumed purpose was criminal, wasn't it?
The assumed purpose, I imagine, as from that particular caller,
because what we're hearing is people
was to embarrass.
For votes.
I think was to embarrass the individual.
Largely, what we're hearing is buying votes, right?
Yes.
And some Negro, to quote Martin Luther King, Tim, because you can't go wrong quoting Martin Luther King. So anyways, I get the jokes. A guy is going to call you, and by the way, this guy or one or two others may have called you, but that is rampant. You hear it everywhere. How people receive checks, how votes were bought, and all those kind of things. And one of them has the audacity to call your program to tell you he agreed to sell his vote. And he doesn't realize right there, if he's identified, he should be arrested. Because it's illegal to sell your vote, just as it's illegal to be paid for it. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct.
Isn't that hilarious thing when you really think about it? When you really think about it, or that the checks bounced, the check didn't have a signature, and all that kind of stuff. For years, we have heard politicians calling one another thieves, crooks, and everything else. And yet, all of a sudden, we're amazed that people would call it the candidates or the surrogates or whatever, thieves and everything. This is not a real place, to use the old cliche. That is not a real place, Tim. Really. Now, as far as whether the Labour Party won correctly or did, I have never heard an election in St. Lucia where everybody was happy with the election results. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Never. I thought it very funny, too, that this person would call so agitated, so angry, and the way that person would have that anger evaporate is by talking to her congressman to prevent St. Lucians from getting any kind of... everything is most stupid. I mean, forget about loyalty to the country. I'm not going into that. That is rank stupidity, and it proves that you don't have... If you're stupid, leaving St. Lucia stupid, and going to America doesn't mean you're going to be any wiser. You probably are going to get even more stupid. This guy, this lady, first of all, what the hell does America care who gets health care or who doesn't health care? If somebody has the money to go to America, to go to the best doctors, they will. And what congressman is going to step into that? You would have thought that person would be far more concerned with the number of people who couldn't come out of votes because of Trump's escapades. Huh? Not a word about that. Not a word about what the problem solutions have in America. I mean, come on. You know, you want to take this thing seriously, Tim. And then you get those kind of calls, nothing making any sense. Oh, my God. I feel so depressed about our future, although, and you know, I have the consolation that I'm not going to be reaping the grapes of wrath much longer. I mean, probably not. When I say that, people say I'm being morbid, but I mean, I'm closer to the exit than the other door. But we don't realize what we are doing is making St. Lucia worse for the people we claim to love, Tim. We are making, and I heard somebody talk about, she actually said two little girls talked about voting.
Yes, she said that. No, she was saying that they were having, she said they were having a discussion.
Who is the they?
The children were having a discussion. They are not,
and the
they are not eligible to vote.
The other,
yeah.
And one asked the other, did you vote? Eh? Did I get that right?
You heard correctly, Rick.
The children, one of the children asked the other, did you vote and who you voted for? And this lady was so perturbed that one of the children said, what? I ain't voting for that white man or whatever. I mean, children vote him? There's special boxes for children to vote at? Tim, why not answer?
Yeah, but Rick, we know that children are not voting. The children are not voting. They're not eligible to vote.
We have to inform our listeners of the bullshit that is, calling and all of those things cause more trouble. We have enough. All the troubles that existed before the elections are there still and are probably worse than they were a week before the elections. And we all have to deal with those problems one way or the other. Now, what is the point in all this causing even more stupid crap? Like talking about children voted and the white man. You can make your point without insulting the rest of us, our intelligence. Two children voted and one child said about this. Or to actually have the nerve to call up and say that you receive a bounce check. And you ask the question, what did you do about it? And even there, the person is protecting the person who gave them the bounce note, the bounce check. So why are you calling the station?
It's all about embarrassing the person who issued the check. You see,
but they don't even say who that person is.
Yeah, they were not prepared to.
It's okay. And then we get to the vouchers. Educate me a little bit. What are those vouchers about? Food vouchers?
Yeah, food vouchers. You receive a voucher maybe for $50 or $100, what have you, and you can redeem them at the supermarket.
And who issued those vouchers?
Politicians are issuing those vouchers.
No. Where do vouchers come from?
They come from the supermarkets. They would come from a politician.
No, I'm asking the question.
All right,
wrong.
it would be issued. It would be issued. Hello?
These are not personal, private vouchers. I'm assuming vouchers came from the government.
I don't know who would be paying for the vouchers. Okay, Rick. But I could tell you. No, hold on, Rick. Hold on. Let me explain. I cannot tell you who paid for the vouchers, but I could tell you politicians, invariably of the government side, would have the vouchers and would be issue the vouchers out or distribute them to their supporters.
What I'm trying to understand, Tim, and pardon my ignorance, were those government vouchers? I mean, I can't just give a person a voucher just like that. Who was issuing those vouchers? Government vouchers? Government issuing vouchers to people? Is that what it was?
But Rick, I've already answered the question.
Well,
and the response was politicians are the ones who are giving out the vouchers. I cannot tell you who paid for the vouchers. I'm not positioned to tell you.
Politicians were issuing the vouchers. Well, let us assume that some of those politicians were governmental politicians. I would imagine there's a logbook, there's a receipt book, there's a book that says how many vouchers who received what voucher when, etc., and therefore would be accountable, because if it's government, then it's taxpayers paying for the vouchers. If it's government issuing, no? Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct.
So why is it so many thousand checks, so many short checks in the bank? You have not seen one. The complainers have not shown you one. I have received the calls too, and I asked, where's the check? Oh, no, I don't want to go into that. That kind of stuff. Then the vouchers. Nobody can tell you which voucher. You can even hear amounts that was sold at Macy's. You heard the amounts? Millions or whatever?
Yeah.
You want to tell me we have no way of being accountable for vouchers that may have come from the government? There may be ways of doing it. I would assume if politicians, opposition politicians have vouchers, maybe the government give them a certain number of vouchers. We don't know anything about those vouchers, apparently. We're only hearing the word vouchers. Am I correct on that?
You're correct, Rick.
We have no idea where it came from, and all we're hearing is masses. Tim, what I am in my instincts always want me to know. Show me this. I think everybody knows about me. Show me this. Let me see the picture. Let me hear the tape. Let me talk to a person. That's why I wrote the kind of stories I wrote, and wrote about the biggest, most powerful people in the country. Because I always wanted the evidence. I always wanted you to show me something. But none of the crap I'm hearing. And by the way, Mr. Rojak, I long ago dismissed that guy. Totally dismissed that guy. I asked him once for an interview. Promised to, but he never did it. I mean, the guy was talking to you there, and he's supposed to be an experienced journalist, but he was talking to you, I hate to say it, from one of the most remote places of the most ignorant part of St. Lucia. That guy didn't sound like no established journalist. I mean, the things you were saying to you about sources and this, I mean, this is foolishness. And finally, America has its own problems with voting every time, Tim. I was reminded, by the way, of the days of George Odlum when we had the green. What was it? The green, the
Red Hot.
Red Hot. George Odlum said that you would vote for his party, and whatever chemicals were in the paper, the vote that was supposed to go for his party moved over to another party. Remember that?
Yeah, the Red Hot.
That was what the Red Hot was about, and we laughed and laughed, and I wrote reams about it. But that's what Trump claimed, not the most recent, but the election before.
Yeah.
And he blamed Venezuela for that. Of course, the people he was accusing sued, and it was all bullshit. But I'm saying to suggest that we're going to bring Americans to come into St. Lucia to investigate whether our voting, that's almost ridiculous considering they can't seem to do it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there are a lot of things that need tightening up. The people who, even those observers, Tim, and that's what citizens are supposed to be, Citizens are supposed to be suspicious of everything. It doesn't mean you are saying so-and-so is a crook. It means you are not supposed to trust things to happen as they're supposed to happen. It means the people must be in touch. The people must be accounted to when things happen. You see what I'm saying? So all the matter of who is manning, and don't worry to tell me I'm castigating any. I don't even know who these Negroes are. I don't know. The people who man the electoral office. Who are these people? But we should know who they are, what they are, etc., and not just put anybody that in.
Okay, Rick, we have to thank you so much. Time is against us. Already 10 minutes after. All right, time now for our NewsSpin News of the Day. The NewsSpin News of the Day reads, condoms and contraceptives to become more expensive in China as Beijing accelerates push to lift birth rate. Once again, the NewsSpin News of the Day reads, condoms and contraceptives to become more expensive in China as Beijing accelerates push to lift birth rate. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Please join us tomorrow afternoon, same time at 12:30. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.